In this video, I'm going to go over how to solve the first LeetCode problem, which is the two-sum problem using Python. The two-sum problem is given an array of integers, which they've called nums, and an integer target, which they've called target. Return indices of the two numbers such that they add up to target. You may assume that each point would have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. You can return the answer in any order. And then down here, they have an example that shows the input of nums being equal to a list containing the values 2, 7, 11, and 15, and the target is 9. The output should be index 0 and index 1, which if we look at that, index 0 is 2, index 1 is 7, 2 plus 7 equals 9, so this would return the correct value. So over here on the right, I have a solution written out, and this solution is likely what new developers are going to produce. It is a brute force solution which checks every possible combination of numbers in the numbers list to see which one adds up to target. And for the first for loop, we have for x in range of the length of numbers minus 1 because we don't want it to actually check the very last number in the first for loop. And then in the second for loop, the nested for loop, we have for y in range x plus 1 up to the length of numbers. And we're doing x plus 1 because over here it says you may not use the same element twice. So we got to make sure that y starts one number past x. And then we have a conditional check here. It says if nums at index of x plus nums at index of y is equal to target, then we return x and y, which will be the indexes of the two values that add up to the target. And if I run this here, we see that we get accepted, but it has a runtime of 2,209 milliseconds, which only beats about 29% of other users in Python. Now, these numbers do vary a little bit with each time that you run this code, but this is a pretty inefficient solution, and it actually is a much more efficient solution that is almost 100 times faster than this. So I'm going to replace that with this solution. And the cool thing about this solution here is it uses some trickery with how dictionaries work using the key value pairs. And basically what this does is we create a dictionary that's empty, and then we only have a single for loop. And if the target number minus the nums at whatever our current index I is in num2 index, so we're checking if that value is in the keys to this dictionary, then we're going to return the value that's at that point in the dictionary and the current index that we are iterating through. Otherwise, we are going to set num to index with the key of the value that is in this list to be equal to the index. And then we have a return for an empty list so that if for some reason it does not find a solution, it will simply return an empty list. But for this challenge, it always has a solution. And if I submit this, we will see that this has a runtime of 23 milliseconds, which is beating 99.91% of other Python users. I hope you found this video helpful to understanding this problem, and it is a good idea to make sure you fully grasp and understand how this is working, because there are numerous other problems in LeetCode where this method right here is extremely beneficial to use to improve the runtime.